On the last Rambling Loafers adventure, the previous one, we drove past Monument Hill. That's where we're at right now. And we thought we would give you a view of the monument here and then go over and see the older parts of the cemetery from here. So this is the monument. On one side you have Poole's Ferry, and the other side you have Smith's Ferry. So back in the 1800s, before Olsen Bridge, which is over there, was built, you had two ways of crossing the river, and it was by ferry. It wasn't a really big deal. It was kind of a raft on a rope. So on this side, I believe, is the Smith Monument, or the Smith story. Operated here from 1855 to 1874 by Mr. and Mrs. James Smith, the precursor of Reedley settlement in 1888. It outlasted other Kings River ferries since Smith's was the only boat which could be approached at a high water. His family kept a two-story room hotel on what is now the cemetery's north end, where Smith, who died in 1862, rests in the oldest grave. His widow sold the business in February 1874. Within months, they closed. Victims of the Central Pacific Railroad's construction west of here in 1872, Smith, an early day assemblyman, is memorialized in the name of a mountain east of here. Alright, we're going to go around the back side and show you Poole's Ferry. So Poole's Ferry was most important of the Kings River's earliest crossings. It was operated between 1851 and 1857 by William Campbell. And somebody Poole, sorry, I can't make that out, 3 miles above this point. The ferry and its standing post served travelers and miners in July 1852. It became the focus of violence when an armed party led by Walter Harvey, Tulare County's first judge, raided the Komuni Yokuts Indian village, Yosemite. Yeah, this is really hard to make out. So discoverer Major James Savage, famed Indian trader and peacemaker, tried to ease tensions but was shot and killed by Harvey in an argument at the trading post on August 16, 1853. They need to do a little cleanup work on here so you can read that a little bit better. So, speaking of the Yokuts, this whole area, this is where they would pretty much come down in the you know, this is pretty much where they would make their camp, was along the river. All right, we're gonna go across over to the cemetery now and look at some headstones and some old graves, some interesting things that are in the older 2 plots of the cemetery. So the oldest grave, as we found out, is this one right here. This is of John Smith, or James Smith, I'm sorry. They've done, there used to be a large tree in this area, and they took it out. His child was buried next to him. I don't know where his wife was buried at, but both of them had died. The child and the father. Sadly, the marker for the child was stolen. So that's why we have William B. Smith also here on this one marker. So to the memory of James Smith, born in York County, Pennsylvania, November 26, 1821, died December 17, 1862. And William B. Smith, born March 13, 1860, and died January 26, 1863. This is the oldest marker here in the cemetery. And I said that these two plots, the one that I'm standing at and the one over, are the oldest, but it does fall over into the 3rd plot. So let's just have another look around at some of these. Let's go over here. W.G.P. Thomas died April 22nd, 1889, age 77 years, 11 days. Oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of the voice that is still. Vanished? I'll have to look up that word. Margaretta, wife of E. Shelby, or Shebley, died June 29th, 1893, age 53, or 51 years and 4 months, 7 days. So E. Shebley. Kun Soo Lee, Korean, died March 6, 1944. So in this area and some of the other side, we have a lot of Korean nationals that were interred here. Reedley ended up being one of the first places that when the Koreans started coming into California, this is where they settled. If we have some time, maybe we'll go ahead and head on over to where the old Reedley Pool was. There's a memorial to those immigrants. We should go check that out. Kate Parlier, 1875, 1922. So she's here with the Shebleys here. So the Parliers, or in French you call it Parlier. There's a town not too far away to the northwest of us called Parlier, and it was named for the Parlier family. So this is more Sheebly right here. Okay, looks like we turn around over here. Well, Sean wants to look at some of the more interesting headstones. And we do have a few really interesting ones. So I think I'm gonna go this way. There's Giovanni Testori, born in Italy, February 21, 1855, died April 20th, 1916. Oh, look at this one. Peace, perfect peace. Emma, wife of C.O. Minkler, 1863-1899, Minkler. So, to the north of us on Reed, you go all the way to Reed meets 180, and you come to a little town called Minkler. This is an interesting one right here. So this is Lucy T. McCubbin, Martha, wife of T.B. McCubbin, Thomas B. McCubbin, and John C. McCubbin. So a little bit of Reedley history. We have a book called the McCubbin Papers, and it's about the history of Reedley in the area. Oh, here's one that Sean likes to look at. There's a gravestone that looks like a stump or a log, doesn't it? Safe in the arms of Jesus, here rests a woodsman of the world. Charles C. Johnston, who died February 26, 1912, aged 40 years. And then look at that. That is completely different than anything I've seen in this cemetery. Looks like it was handmade. There's another woodsman. This is for Rory House, 1890 to 1913. Here rests a woodsman of the world. This is kind of interesting over here. Moses Abdullah, 1894 to 1936. This was erected by his sister. Alright, we're going to go a little bit further into the cemetery. Hopefully we'll find T.L. Reed's grave and I can talk a little bit about him. In fact, I see the marker that I used to find him. And if we're lucky, we'll go find the grave of C.L. Drath and I can tell you a little bit about him as well. Okay, so this little headstone right there with the dove sitting on top of it, that's what I used to find T.L. Reed's grave. This isn't TL per se. Thomas Law Reed. Now his grave is around here somewhere. So we have Edmund R. Reed over here. These guys died too late to be TL Reed. Here we go. Here's the guy we're looking for. So TL Reed, he was a Civil War hero, and he was one of the, well, when he came to this area of California, he was a wheat farmer, and we were the world's largest wheat producer this side of the Mississippi during that time, until our soil makeup changed. I was told that it was the alkali came up into the soil and it burned the roots of the young wheat that we're trying to grow. So we went from wheat to row crops, or we went to wheat to stone fruit and to grapes and to citrus. But this guy, pretty much, you know, he was really wealthy for, you know, being this, if you want to call him a wheat baron. He had these mule teams that were 21 mules long or more. He helped out the budding Methodist Episcopal Church by providing opera chairs when we first organized. And so this is where he rests, TL Reed. They wanted to name the community after him, but he said no, I don't want the town to be called Reed. And so the post office, it was between the post office and the railroad, I think, at that time. They said, well, we got to call it something. The guy said, I know, let's just add an L-E-Y to the end of Reed and we'll call it Reedley. And that's how we ended up with our name. Now, this is kind of a side note. My granddad Howard, he's buried over there where that big tree is, near there. He was born in Reed County, Oklahoma. And he would have died in Reed, California, had they not changed the name from Reed to Reedley. I know that's kind of a silly story, but there you go. All right. I think if I go over this way, we will find a headstone for Drath. And I got a little bit of story to talk about that too. There's a big monument to J.R. Reed there. I don't want to go too far, but I'm worried that if this headstone over here that's by Edmiston isn't Drath, I might have to go too far. It's all right. There's more interesting things to look at. Look at this. Look at that. Marie, wife of E. Blackman, June 18, 1881, March 8, 1902, at rest. Edmiston. Oh, those are quite fancy. There's some more over here. Or one more. Theodate L. Toller? Toller? It's kind of hard to make out, but it's really similar to those Edmiston markers over there. Alright. So this is bacon. Well, if I'm going to show you where the Draths are, I guess I got to get walking. Let's go see where Sean is. Oh, he's still over in plot 1. Look down there, you see the blue dot? That's Sean. Alright. Here's another woodsman. Here we go. Ruth W. King, born June 11th, 1881, died January 9th, 1908. Erected by the women of Woodcraft. Okay. So that's different. We have Woodsmen of the World, and then we have the Women of Woodcraft. Courage, hope, and remembrance. I don't know if we got a good look at this or not. Maybe that'll help. Oh, it's a nice day. We got a nice breeze coming in from the west. I bet that's another woman of woodcraft. Let's go check it out. And then I see another log over there. Franzen. Alright, so this is Emma M. Bowen, born July 9, 1862, died September 29, 1908, erected by the Women of Woodcraft. Wow, that's neat. I never knew that that women would have such a monument like that. I always thought it was always the woodsmen of the world. So speaking of that, there's one more over here. Let's go look at that one. All right, so this is a woodsman of the world, James S., son of G.M.L. and L. Dean, November 11th, 1884, October 1st, 1907. Here lies our darling at rest in Jesus. Alright, I don't want to go too much further, but I'm going to go see if we can find the Draths. Let's go find them. This is a monument for the Moor. So over here we have William and Gunborg. William was 6 years. Oh wait, No, William was not 6 years old. Wow. They're fairly new and newly interred. Okay. There's more over here. Oh. Alright, we're still looking for Drath, and I think it might be this headstone over here. Nope, that's Ruth. Hirschler? Well, I can talk about Hirschler if we can find... Hey! Here's some Draths right here. Alright. Gertrude Drath Hirschler. So Gertrude Drath was the daughter of C Drath. C Drath was a furniture seller in town, and in the around 1910 or so, he bought up 4 lots on D Street, and he had some houses built. And if you go on D Street on between 12th and 13th, there are the 4 houses on the west side of 13th, not of 13th, of D Street towards 13th. And the house on the corner and the house, one house over, are pretty much the same blueprint or same design. And then the second house from the corner and the house, one house over from that one, are another same design. And if you look at the 4th house, that's how the second house on the corner looked, the yellow house looked. But the yellow house is where C Drath and his family, well, it's where they resided and lived, and Gertrude Drath Hirschler lived there till she died. All right. I'm gonna go over here. Let's go over on this side. Okay, so this is Drath and Hirschler. So this is everybody. Here we go. C.L. Lewis Drath, March 29, 1857, and he died February 13th, 1940. There's Gladys L. Here's Gertrude's mother and father. His brother. Or her brother, sorry. Alright, well, that's about gonna wrap it up. I have a feeling that Chime was my husband trying to figure out where I am. I see him down there, the light blue spot. I'm gonna call it quits here. So, at the Reedley Cemetery in front of the Drath Hirschler Monument, this is the Rambling Loafers signing off. Bye.